I would like to show you a piece of equipment that makes our job a whole lot easier. We call it a Cheaterjack. It pushes trees over in any direction that we want. What we're doing here is showing you the brute force Cheaterjack has by lifting this bucket truck. Now you can imagine the weight of this front end. We definitely have it off the ground. Watch the strength and the stability Cheaterjack uses to push these trees over, and you'll have an idea what Cheaterjack can do. Okay. That easy. One man with a chainsaw, Cheaterjack, and some good sense can bring down most trees. Quicker, easier, and safer than ever before. All of the trees in this video are leaning one way and are pushed the other. And we made sure that the wind was against them. So hopefully you can see some of the Cheaterjack's abilities. Watch the dust and see how hard the wind's actually blowing. This is a medium-sized oak with a lean toward a fence. I have complete control and plenty of power to send this tree in the right direction. As I turn Cheaterjack, I feel how much pressure is needed for each tree. No two trees are the same. You will learn on several simple trees how much pressure is needed. As you get used to that, you'll work your way up to more difficult trees. Now this is a large oak. Take a look again. It's over 70 foot tall and it's leaning over the orange grove. We need to make it go away from the orange grove, and the wind's working against us also. I position the jack where I think it needs to go. I stab the tree. Then I start applying pressure to the jack. I can feel when it's got a good grip on the tree and on the ground. I normally leave about 4 inches of hinge wood and start applying pressure to Cheaterjack. Once the felling cut starts to open up, the tree's doing what I want, and I'll trim the hinge down to about 3 inches. As I keep applying pressure to it, the felon cut keeps opening up, and I'll do this 2 or 3 times. Very important to leave good hinge wood. I cut this tree about waist high. If I needed the extra power, I would cut it closer to the ground. You can see it's gotten a lot easier. The Cheaterjack is very stable. The tree's teetering on the hinge, but the Cheaterjack's holding it steady. It's not going to go until we let it go. Sorry little tree, and we could obviously put it on the ground, but we're gonna make it go back the other way just to see if we can do it. This old tree has kind of got a rotten trunk to it and pretty well bug eaten and not a lot of good wood holding. And looking at the trunk, we're gonna put the notch on this side, and look at all that rotten wood. That's a nasty old thing there. Yeah, it's getting there. You can definitely tell you're moving it. There it goes. Heavy tree or a very big tree, but it was pretty rotten. All that's rotten wood, and we stood it up and bent it the other way. You saw how bad it was leaning. We shortened this video a little bit, save you a little bit of time, but as you can see, all these branches are leaning backwards and it's very windy. Very good. If you notice, that's about 4 inches of wood holding. It was leaning back, and we were able to bend 4 inches by about 17 inches of wood and bend it and force it to go the right way.
Okay, I'll let you get your thing done.
This large oak tree actually took 10 minutes to knock down. Cheaterjack got it balanced on the stump real well. Stable, strong, winds against us. A few more cranks and she'll go over.
Pretty dead, rotten tree. We stood it up a long way and pulled it over. I'd have to have a couple ropes on it to do the same thing. As stable as the Cheaterjack just did it. 24-inch bar on that chainsaw. Cheaterjack might be a little tired. That was kind of a big push for it. It did pretty good. The tip stuck in the tree, just like it's supposed to. Tip's all steel, so it not really going to hurt it. And of course the tree went right where we wanted it. Debbie's reloading the Cheaterjack, spinning her down. This Cheaterjack's got about 250 trees on it. It was a demo we had a salesman out in the field with. That's what the bars got bent. We could use a brand new one to push this over, but the old one works just as good. Looks like it could use a little bit of lubrication, and we're just showing you that this Cheaterjack is real user. You can take it out, you can abuse it, and it'll keep on pushing over those tough trees. Here's a pretty full fat boy pine tree. It's tangled into another smaller one. We're next to the Baptist church, so we got to do a good job here. And it's leaning toward the church. We're going to ask that Cheaterjack to stand it up and push it away from the church. Doesn't have the heaviest lean going back, but it's definitely heavier on the church side. Let's take a look at that again. As I cut it, you'll see that little tree reveal itself behind it. Use wedges to back it up, just in case something bad would have happened. So far, so good. Pretty big old tree. When you think about big trees, that's a pretty decent size.
These next 3 pines were over 90 foot tall, dead, and over a house. Definitely get some simple trees under your belt before taking on the tough ones. We recommend that you notch your tree just as the chainsaw manual recommends. Start your felling cut, then increase the pressure where the Cheaterjack is needed. After a few easy trees, you should get the hang of it. Of course, everything has its limits, so does Cheaterjack. Since all trees aren't the same, the cutter's experience comes into play on how to apply Cheaterjack's 15,000 pounds of pushing power to force the tree where the cutter wants it to go. The man who runs a crew and is responsible will find Cheaterjack a must-have. At 45 pounds, Cheaterjack is easy enough to carry that it's close at hand when needed. Gone is relying on someone else who may be new or have bad work habits with your safety or the safety of the property you're paid to protect, at least during felon operations.
Come here, Jesse. Get in here. Jesse. 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 Get in here. Jesse. Jesse. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, Jesse. Let's do this. Come on, Jesse.
I have cut over 10,000 trees with Cheaterjack since 2001 when I made the first one, and it still amazes me to see Cheaterjack lift and send those trees where I want them to go time and time again. My tree company gets calls to just get the tree or trees down. The customer will clean it up. When I go to estimate those calls after normal work hours, I have a saw and a Cheaterjack with me. I'll fell those trees right then, the customer is there to pay me, and I save myself a trip back with no labor cost. Always like that.
Cheaterjack in all its pieces. What we've got is the jack itself, most of the moving parts. This is the base, this is the tip, this is joiner, and these are the sections. There's a top section and a bottom section. I'll show you in a second how they go together. It's really quite easy. The jack is going to be received into the base like such. What we've got is a bearing on top of here, and what fits on top of that bearing is going to be the bottom section of aluminum. It has a receiver on it, goes right on there. That should be smooth. If it's not, it either needs to be cleaned or lubed. Throwing them around in the back of trucks and using them on a daily basis, it's not unusual to have to clean them. The parts just never wear out. Nothing's moving real fast. Then we would have our joiner and our tip. I'll go ahead and put the tip in the top piece here. Go up here. Joiner and top piece. Takes a little getting used to. But once it's all together, it's pretty easy to move around. It's 45 pounds. And this is the Cheaterjack in its entirety. And we have some instructions on the sticker down there. Some general use and some warnings. But the gist of it is master the smaller trees before you take on the tougher ones. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Pretty light, easy to maneuver around. You can carry it into the woods.
It's hard to show all of Cheaterjack's uses. We keep finding them. Besides felling trees, we've straightened them out after hurricanes. There was a lot of that these last years. When a tree is on a house and the main trunk is through the roof, Cheaterjack can lift even large logs so they can be cut and removed. We've pushed trees out by the roots when the stump grinder wasn't available, and when some dummy got the truck stuck, it helped there too. When you move those trees so easily with the strength and stability of Cheaterjack, you will earn more money with less stress, freeing up your time.